Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Sunday, January 6th, 2019. My name is Rich, and joining me once again is Bijan. How are you making out?
Congratulations, everyone! We made it to 2019. The world isn't over. And yes, Happy New Year, everybody.
It is another new year, a great year. We have ANW11 coming up this year. But in the meantime, this episode, we are going to be looking at the Titan games.
Yes, new show from the creators of American Ninja Warrior and The Rock.
Yeah. I am curious because we didn't really talk ahead of time about what we thought of the show. And I've had some people pinging me, but no one's really given me their opinion yet. So I'm curious.
Dude, I want to hear...
Before we dig into this, overall, what did you think of the show?
Dude, before I give mine, because I you know me, I have got some strong opinions on anything that happens. What are your thoughts, bro? Because I'm more curious about yours.
I was very underwhelmed by 80% of it. I gotta say, I was not sold on it. It has everything, and I don't know why. That's what's confused me about this show. Like, I love The Rock. I think he's amazing. I like the idea of the show. I like the format. I like the producers. They put out great stuff. I just can't really get into it that much.
Well, I'll tell you this. It's a show that has a lot of pros, but it's hammered down by a lot of its cons. And the fact that the premise of it is based solely on people's strength. And I don't mean strengths like, oh, their technique or their agility. Like, really, the stronger person most time is going to win. And it's very formulaic with that. I am like at the very beginning, like, how do I say this? Any of the introductory obstacles, like, that aren't the finals, 9 times out of 10, the stronger person is going to end up winning. That's all it is, whether it's leg strength, arm strength, core strength, whatever it is. And maybe that's the prospect of it, because later on in the show, I finally, like, came to me where it's like, this show isn't trying to be American Ninja Warrior, but what it's trying to do is kind of be like a powerlifting thing meets American Ninja Warrior. Maybe like American Gladiators or something like that a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's tackling a different type of formula. But the problem with that is that where things on American Ninja Warrior or shows like Ultimate Beastmaster, so on and so forth, there's a lot of technique and ingenuity involved. This one, it's literally hammer in this nail as fast as you can, and then, pull this gondola and swing it into something. Like, it's literally who's the stronger person. And at a certain point, it's not necessarily as entertaining. That said, I found a lot of the people on this show, or the contestants, very engaging. So this show is going to be made or broken by who's on it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think you said that really well. I did notice that about it being a strength competition. Really, in the initial rounds, the finale, the Mount Olympus portion being more endurance, and you can see some of the stronger competitors.
Pretty good, right? Like,
yeah.
I found the finale, like that final whatever, that one was a little bit more mixed, and I appreciated that, the fact where it's like, yeah, you could be really strong, but you might get burned out because you're doing a lot of stuff. Like, there is a variety there, but man, these initial ones, I'm like, well, I mean, it's the luck of the draw. Like, hey, if you're got a lot of leg strength, you better hope for one of these leg strength ones. Like, I don't know. I like the fact that there was a variety of obstacles, though. I mean, hey, if there's every episode a different obstacle, that could be pretty dope, right, Rich?
Yeah, they've already had some repeats, though. I think we're going to see a lot of repeating as it goes along. But yeah, we'll get into all the details here. We should make it clear, this is our first episode of the new year.
Yes.
Which we usually ring it in a very special way. And I believe we're going to do that again this year. So I've got a few drinks with me here. I can't go as overboard, especially, I mean, last year I didn't intend to, but I kind of went a little overboard on the whiskey last year. Going lighter this year, sticking to a couple of vodka drinks. I cannot be hungover with a busted up leg. It's just not going to be a fun time. So
Yeah,
I'm going to lean on you, Bijan. You're going to have to carry the torch for both of us.
The young one's going to get drunk, everybody. That said, I want to give an addendum because I know we've been covering A&W Junior, so if there's a lot of young fans or families that are listening to us, this might be an episode where, I'm going to try my hardest not to be overboard or like ridiculous, but I really want to make it clear to everybody. We do this once a year, but drink responsibly. We may be having fun, but I want to make it clear. Drinking isn't like something, it's so cool or whatever. It could be fun in certain avenues or whatever. But please, if you're a young child, please wait till you're of age to do this type of thing. And I would just want to tell everybody out there, drink responsibly, and everybody, and most importantly than anything else, be safe when you actually choose to do things like this.
Very well said, and I'm glad you said that. I will say that I have had the honor of not being preachy or, what's the term I'm looking for? I haven't been hypocritical with my children. I've told them to wait until they're of age because I waited until it was legal. So I expect them to do the same. And I would expect all of you to do the same that are listening.
And I'm going to just keep my mouth shut on that one.
I thought maybe. Okay. So we also, and I don't know if Bijan actually prepared for this, but we also usually do a 20 questions.
Oh, man, I was going to get you on this. Man,
I didn't forget this year.
Man, I can't get anything past Rich. I have my 21 questions ready, and I was so gonna like just slam it on you at the end of the episode. Okay.
No, I prepared.
Okay.
You got me last year. You waited till I was completely in no position to try it, and you got me last year. This year, I'm ready for you.
Okay. Everybody, if you guys don't know 21 questions, this is a fun game that we play every year, and we'll see who wins this one. It's very fun to play at home. I'm curious.
Yes, I know in past seasons or in past episodes, we've had listeners that were losing their minds listening to us because they knew what ninja we had picked, because that's what we do. We pick one ninja to try to guess by asking questions. And you at home may find it very frustrating because by the end of this episode, we may not be in the best condition to make those guesses.
Yeah, like last year, Rich had me guessing for James McGrath, and I just couldn't figure it out, and it was so sad. It's like, how did I not know that? But hey, different state of mind.
All right. That being said, before we get into the heart of the Titan games here, time for drink number one, I think.
Yes. So, what are you drinking, Rich? What do you got over there?
I'm afraid to say. I will say it's a cooler. It's a vodka cooler.
Hey, it's okay. No judgments here. I am drinking some tequila because San Diego represents, son. This is not going to be fun, guys.
This is not flavored tequila or anything. This time,
it's not. You? No, this is some cheap tequila that I usually use for cooking. And whatever. Let's do this. All right, buddy. Everybody at home, salute. Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Well.
Okay.
Nothing better than drinking at home, guys. Okay. Let's. Hey, if you really want to be mean, hey, we need a drink to get through this show, right?
Yeah.
10 games isn't that bad, but.
No, it wasn't that bad. But I mean, I would only put it on par with Strong, which we covered a few weeks back. It's not.
Yeah, it was very similar to that. What's funny is I felt a lot of crossover with that. Very different shows, but at the same time, it kind of had a same feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, very much did. I guess my first thought on the whole show, and the thing that annoyed me the most, and it's such a minor thing, why they have to stop calling Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson DJ, because I can't stand it. It's driving me crazy every single time they do it. He's not DJ. Like, that's the kid on Roseanne.
I don't know. It didn't bother me as much this episode, but I understand what you're saying. It could get old, right? For me, it was more of between the strengths of the show where, you get to see the obstacles and these competitors and their stories and everything like that. We get a lot of downtime in between these of The Rock explaining how, quote unquote, he created these obstacles and the ideology behind it. And I just didn't care, to be honest with you. And there was a lot of other things like these random hosts. I don't know if you notice this, Rich, but I felt so bad for these hosts that like actually like commentate basically like the Matt Eisman and Akbar of this show. The Rock at the beginning of this episode has like a 5-minute thing, and it's really amping up the show, which is cool and all. And then he's like, "All right, and these guys are gonna host," and then it's like straight in, like no like introduction to these guys at all. Like, I'm like, who are these guys? And they're a good portion of the show. Like, they really bring in the entertainment, or they're supposed to. And I will say, they aren't bad, but they're not great. They're definitely nowhere near Akbar or Matt. They're just there. And that's okay. It's whatever. I mean, this show really needs all it could get, so I'd hope for stronger hosts, but maybe they'll get into the groove, kind of like Ultimate Beastmaster. How do you feel about all that?
Yeah, so the hosts in this one are kind of a weird mix, right? But because they are commentating through the whole thing. They're fine. I really don't have any issue with them, but they don't stand out. But I think they're not supposed to, right? They're really not given that kind of a platform to be the standouts, right? It's really focused on the athletes and The Rock, right? So to give them a quick shout out here, I did note their names. Where did I put those? Liam McHugh and Alex Mendez are commentating in the booth, and Carrie Champion is the other host. But The Rock isn't like Sylvester Stallone is with Beastmaster, right? Sylvester Stallone really just introduces the season. He doesn't do anything.
Stallone is not part of Ultimate Beastmaster. I mean, he might write a check to the show or something. He's not really there.
Yeah, he's an executive producer. He doesn't really seem to be as hands-on. He definitely doesn't make appearances through the show. It's really focused on the hosts. The hosts of Beastmaster are very much a part of the show. They steal this show half the time, right from the athletes. These hosts are just audio over top of the athletes running the course, and it's frequently cutting to The Rock, who, I'm sorry, no one's going to steal the show from him. He is totally charismatic. I mean, I didn't enjoy those segments that much that you mentioned. Like, they really focused a lot on him, just kind of messing around with the crowd and talking to the athletes. They were fine, but it was a bit much.
I don't know. I mean, it's The Rock. We all know he's incredibly charismatic, and he's very witty, you know? Like, he can come up with some great stuff on the fly. It just didn't seem natural. And obviously, he wasn't really creating these obstacles. Maybe he had some say in it, like, hey, I want a leg obstacle or something. I don't know. But just the way he was explaining it to it, it didn't have that connection for me. Maybe it did at home for everybody else. I can't speak for everybody else. But for me, it just really wasn't there. That said, I mean, let's get into the bread and butter of this show, which was the athletes' stories and them competing against each other. And I felt like this was the strength of the show.
I kind of felt it was a weakness in a way. I didn't know what was wrong with it, and maybe it was just my mentality. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you're just not getting it. Sometimes you're just not feeling it. I just didn't care about the athletes that much. There was like one or two maybe, but overall the segments were fine. They weren't overly long. They were, they were just basically segments. I don't know. Maybe it's getting repetitive for me. Something about them just didn't draw me in as much as I'd like them to, especially like you said, they are the show. They really need to amp that up. They need to be the draw. And there were very few that made me root for them. I didn't care which one of them won because we didn't really talk about the format. I want to cover that quickly for those that didn't actually watch the show.
Good point. Go ahead.
So they have two opponents. Sorry, I guess 2 men and 2 women square off per episode, to be clear. And they basically have like Bijan said, a strength trial between them. It's single elimination, right? So you lose, you're out. And then you move on to the 2 winners of the strength trials move on to Mount Olympus, which is 7 obstacles that they have to complete to become the Titan of that episode. And then there are, based on the graphic at the end, it looks like there's going to be 16 Titans. That's 8 men and 8 women at the end of it. And those 8 men and 8 women will square off to find out who will become the Titan champion. And so it's really key, right? There's only 4 people competing in each episode, an hour long per segment, right? This was a 2-hour opening. It looked like 2 episodes basically strung together.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to do that every week. It's a bit much. 2 hours is a long time for this, I found.
Yeah, it just isn't paced well for a 2-hour show. But I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be a 1-hour show. It's just, a 2-hour premiere.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do hope so. But yeah, they didn't draw me in. Did you did find the stories really compelling and that you really wanted to root for one person or another?
Oh, let me make it clear. Some. Not all of them. There were definitely some sneakers in here, but there were some that I found compelling. Especially this first episode, I felt had the stronger stories. I don't know their names, but I know their stories. You'd have to go over them for me to.
Sure, you tell me which one was compelling. I'll tell you their name. I got it all down.
Okay, well, definitely the strongest that I was really rooting for and connected with was the gentleman. He was bald. He had a son. He was in prison when he was young, and then he dedicated his life to his child, and has this crazy schedule where he's waking up at 4 a.m. and doing all this stuff, and then working and doing all this stuff for his child until 6 p.m. and then doing it all over again. And I found that really compelling because that's genuinely the American blue collar, just give it your all and work incredibly hard. I found that really engaging.
Yeah, that was Mike Evans. That was in the first portion of the episode. Yeah, he was great. People had a lot of personality. They really did a good job of finding people with personality. I just found, I don't know. I just didn't really root. There was only one real case where I was really pulling for someone, and it was right at the end of the episode, pretty much.
Well, who's that?
That was the female powerlifter, man, Charity. She was great.
Oh, Charity. Okay. I was happy for her, but I can't say I was rooting for her. But it might be a bias because I really was soured. I'm by that time of the episode, really, I mean, even the beginning of the episode, I'm oh, okay, well, these obstacles are clearly geared for whoever's stronger. A powerlifter is going to do well. So I kind of just had a bias of not liking the powerlifters.
Yeah, I get that. And I kind of felt that at the beginning. With her, to me, it was kind of a realization towards the end of the episode is the endurance was a factor. Yeah. And you could see her struggling through Mount Olympus, and that struggle is kind of what drew me in. And then something that happened, which we'll come back to, I guess, as we go. We should go through some of these obstacles. I cannot describe them all. There's just too many crazy obstacles in this episode.
Well, there's one where you grab a hammer type thing and you nail it into some spike and you hit it as hard as you can over and over again. And then there's this gondola thing, kind of like ringing a bell or a battering ram. And you just swing it back and forth until it breaks a door.
Yeah.
So entertaining, right, guys?
That's the least. That's probably the worst obstacle of the episode. I think that would probably be it.
Oh, there were some stinkers. For me, the worst was just there was this pole and there are gaps and you just jump over them with the pole. I could not care less. I couldn't care less about that one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe somewhere middle of the road. I didn't think it was the worst. It was somewhere around the middle.
It literally came down to who can put the pole in the little hole thingies on the ground the quickest.
Yeah, so to describe it a little better for that one.
Nothing to it.
That one was the, let me find it. It was called, oh my God, there's so many obstacles and so much in this episode.
It was called, this should not be a determiner to who gets eliminated. Maybe it could be a part of it, but.
Yeah, so it's called the Power Vault. So they had this silver pole that each of them had, and they're standing on one of 5 blocks. They've got a pole vault, basically, put it into a little peg at the little, whatever you want to call it, little circle at the bottom, and vault over, pole vault, basically, across this gap. Bring the pole with them to the next one and do it all the way across. Throw aside the silver pole, grab a golden pole for some reason. I don't get that at all. And then use that golden pole to come all the way back. Oh, sorry. When they got to the end of it, they had to lift 3 heavy blocks. They really did a lot of lifting and heavy, stuff in this. A 200 and a 250 and a 300-pound block to, I don't know, unlock that pole, I guess, and then use the golden one to come back. They plant that golden pole. They have to climb the golden pole and grab a chain. It's not a great obstacle. It's just not fun to watch, really.
I would not do well in this show. I don't think a lot of American Ninja Warriors would do well in the show because it's literally geared toward people that the bros at the gym. That's the best way to put it.
That's a great question, actually. American Ninja Warrior, who's your money on to do well in the show?
Booby Peck, and
peck bouncing dude, right?
And maybe what the heck is his name? The American Gladiator guy from earlier seasons.
Oh, Evan Dollard.
Evan Dollard. Man, it was on like tip of my tongue. I'm like, I should know this guy's name. Evan Dollard, yeah. I can see him. Hey, maybe like this is the thing. Like people that are like yoked on American Ninja Warrior, like Kevin Bull and stuff like that, that are just like muscle and abs and everything like that. They are super strong looking, but then you see people on this show and it's like power lifters. It's like, I don't know where endurance ends and just pure brute strength begins when it comes to these obstacles. But what I can tell you is those are the factors rather than figuring out something.
Yeah, it's not a mental game. They kind of tried to play it up as that at points. I didn't see very much in the way of, I need to figure out how to do this. It's just muscle. Just muscle through it. Whether it's endurance or power, it just boils down to, are you strong enough to do it?
Yeah. But let's get into this episode, man. We spent
We're all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So we're not going run by run. So I think this is kind of the way to do it. We can kind of jump around a little bit. We just talked about some of the worst obstacles. What was one that you liked?
Good question. You start, because I have to think back.
I did have one. What was it? I kind of liked actually the first one they had, where they had to just pull these poles. It was a very simple obstacle. They had these poles in this wall. They had to pull it out.
Oh, that was my favorite.
Yeah, there's a woman on either side of the wall. You've got to grab these two silver poles and pull them out. They're at like basically ground level.
And they're the length of a truck. So they're very long, heavy poles. And they basically have to use like jump up against this wall. And they're using their back muscles and their leg muscles to pull this thing outwards.
Yeah. And then they one of them is way up high. So they have to actually climb up to it and pull it off the ground, right? So they're bracing their feet against the wall and just pulling. It's just a tug of war. But it's such an interesting visual aspect to it. I'm just struggling to pull this as the woman on the other side is trying to pull it at the same time. That was pretty compelling.
That's the best one because it's independent. Like there's only going to be one winner, and all the other obstacles basically are independent from anybody's like, I guess like being part of it, right? Like they're always side by side. All the other obstacles. This one, a woman can basically stopgap the other one, and it's really based on who wants it the most or who could be stronger. But, as you said, it's a tug of war, and that I found to be very, very entertaining. And at the very beginning, I was like, okay, even though it's based on who's strongest, like this can actually be cool because you see that grit and determination and that heart involved. So yeah, that number one is my number one obstacle, hands down. I'm glad you agree with me, and I agree with you. You know what I mean.
That was the first one that came to mind. Actually, I do have one that I would put above it, but do you have another one you want to bring up?
No, honestly, that was my favorite.
My favorite would actually be heavy metal. It was the last one we saw. They have to lug 350 pounds of chains up this 30-foot hill. So the chains kind of like lift off the ground as they go. So it just keeps getting heavier as they go up, and then they have to crank this chain and a 100-pound block up off the ground. And that might just be because I like the competitor. It really could have biased me on that one. But I liked the struggle of that one more than I liked a lot of the other ones. It just seemed more real and more about grit. I mean, it was obviously a lot of strength, just like the other ones. But I don't know. There's just something visually about it I like better.
I mean, for me, it was another strength-based obstacle, so I didn't care for it as much. But out of these strength-based obstacles, that was a fun one because there was a lot of struggle.
Competitor-wise, so
before we get in, I'm going to take another shot because
before
this show.
One more drink here.
Let's do this, guys. Salud.
Cheers.
Okay, that's disgusting. I'm over it. I've done 3 tequila shots so far. Well, 1 off air, 2 on air. I'm going to open up my beer now because liquor before beer and you're in the clear. And I'm going to enjoy beer for the rest of the episode. Because that tequila is disgusting. So, Rich, what stories really engaged you? We heard that you like Charity, the powerlifter. Are there any stories that really stood out to you?
I got to browse back through. I don't think so. I I didn't dislike any of the stories, not really, but I just didn't care. I really didn't get pulled in that much. Boom, 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 boom. Go down through. No, not a one of them. I can't. I think part of it, and I actually just realized this right now. The problem is American Ninja Warrior is about everyday people, and this is supposedly about, but they don't look like everyday people. I can't identify with basically anybody on this show.
I mean, that's a good point. I can't fault them for that because, like, here's the thing. Ultimate Beastmaster is not about everyday people either. Everybody on that show is a world-class athlete, a blah, 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 but yet their stories are engaging.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I don't know. I found some people engaging. Like, there was this guy from Samoan America that was very heavy set, and he got married, and his wife actually, like, challenged him to, do better, lose weight and everything. And he fell in love with weightlifting, and he became this amazing, like, he's very charismatic, and he said that his hero is The Rock. And another thing about the show is they have very, very forced, obviously already known, reactions to them getting a call from The Rock and being like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to The Rock. Oh, thank you." All this, I'm like, calm down, guys. Like, we know. I mean, to be fair, when I got the call for American Ninja Warrior, they gave my girlfriend and my best friend a heads up beforehand and wanted them to film me. It just didn't work out that way of, them getting footage of me getting the call. It could be that, but just the way they were done, it seemed a little bit too forced and a little too cute. So I think it was just more of they already knew. And for that, it just didn't have that, that realness. But whatever. The guy was super entertaining, and I liked that guy. But once again, he's up against a bodybuilder guy who just looks like a brick tank, right? He's like this huge dude that just does crunch, like leg lifts and everything else all day. And it's literally an obstacle where you pull a weight, like you're connected to this weight thingy, and you lift it as high as you can. So basically, it's all based on leg strength, and you got to, like, march forward. And, like, this tank of a guy just, like, marches forward and crushes it, and this other guy is giving it all he's got, but can't even do anything. And once again, it's like, none of this is based on like, anything other than how strong you are. And that annoyed me because that was a guy that I really connected with.
Yeah, actually, he's a good pull because he would probably be my second, as the most entertaining, engaging person in the whole thing. He was actually pretty good. And that was definitely, I saw them square off. And this dude, so that guy's name was, the Samoan dude was Ben Athevai, and he went against Anthony Furman, this military recruiter. The dude is huge, and his story was that he was a Taylor Swift fan. He was kind of like...
Oh, he was damn near like peck bouncing guy status for me. Or not horse abs, but peck bouncing status, where they tried way too hard to make him goofy. It was just like, why are you guys doing this?
Like, we will remember this guy. He is built like a truck. Like, the guy is absolutely massive. And so basically, for those that didn't see it, they strapped a rope to him with a giant weight, and they had to pull the weight up so hard that it cracked through concrete, these different floors of this big tower. So it's just basically how fast and how hard, how much power can you put into smashing through these things. And like Bijan said, it really wasn't much of a competition. This guy just crushed it because he's got so much mass and so much power. He just runs, and the things just break through two at a time.
It's literally the equivalent of what has the most horsepower of, like, this giant, like, I don't know, F-350 truck, right? Giving it a all, pulling a, I don't know, like a bigger truck or something. And then it's against a Pinto or I don't even know. What's a small car, Rich?
Even the small guys, though. But even that guy was big, but there's limits,
no
right?
comparison. It's like...
There's a medium and extra large. That was not a competition.
Yeah, it would be like who's a fit guy on American Ninja Warrior, Rich? Name off somebody.
I don't know. Thomas Stillings.
Thomas Stillings versus The Rock. And
in
who's
an arm
stronger? Yeah, it's like they're both fit, but there's a difference.
Yeah, it was not even close really on that one. And there's a few of them that weren't very close, and that sucked me out of the first episode, and I feel like almost that's why they did a double episode, because the second one had some really close races that actually got me a little more engaged.
I guess. I gotta say, one other person that really engaged me was the grandma that could. I don't even know if she's grandma, but like this older lady kind of looked like what Jesse Kraft would look like when she's like 60 or whatever, you know? Just a firefighter, but she is built like she is so like just muscles on muscles, zero body fat and all that stuff. And I'm like, you go, lady, man. Also, she's got like a fiance that's like half her age. Like, go grandma, man. Do you?
She was a beast too. She won her matchup against a woman half her age. That was Julie Dudley.
Yeah. So I was rooting for her, man. She was dope.
Yeah. She did that stupid hammering ram thing, right? Where she just had to bang a hammer and then swing a big log and break a door. It was just that obstacle was just foolish.
Seriously, guys, if you haven't seen this, at least look up that obstacle. It's so dumb. It's like that one and the one we talked about before with the muscle dude, where they literally have a rope wrapped around them and just running forward. Both of those just like, why are these here?
Yeah. So we covered off the basic beginning obstacles, I think, overall, our favorites and our worst. What about Mount Olympus?
Okay, so this is where I felt like the show was actually very, very engaging. You know, this was, I don't know, it had a good variety of obstacles, and it really challenged the person for their endurance and everything else. And more importantly than anything else, they were incredibly fatigued by the end of it, where you could tell like they were completely drawn out and they gave it their all. And that's what I like to see. You know, one engaging part of American Ninja Warrior that we cover obviously a lot is the fact that by the end of the course, we saw a competitor give it their very much all and they are completely worn out. Like they had nothing left. And we didn't really get that for the introductory obstacles. But in this part, they're completely done by the end of it. And that's what I felt as a strength. I felt like if the show kind of did more of that variety, it would have been stronger. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I thought it was good overall. It still is very strength dependent, but there's an endurance component because there's so much to it, right? There's 7 different obstacles. They do test a variety of things. So it does make it a little better. They're squaring off into the giant. I mean, it's very impressive. Like the set and everything is very, very impressive. It's huge. It's like a big stadium. Some of the obstacles were better than others, I guess, in the 7 trials that they have to do. I don't know. It was good. I didn't love it in the first episode, but the second one, it was really good because I felt like the competitors had closer matches. They were more engaging, and it just made me like the ending a little better.
I agree. I mean, there are closer matches in it, but once again, I mean, it's all dependent on the competitors, and you know that can be said for all types of shows like this. But I don't know. My big fear is if it stays the same, this can get old very quickly. You know, the thing that always happened with me is when it came to Spartan Ultimate Challenge, you know, that show, the first episode was always really entertaining. And I'll be honest with you guys, I actually like Spartan more in terms of their first episodes. We'll see if this one is worse or better. I can't judge it based on one episode. But where was I going with this? Alcohol's already hitting me.
Yeah, it's already getting old.
I don't even know where I was going with that, Rich.
All right. So looking at Mount Olympus here, we've got 7 obstacles. Let's kind of go through them and talk about each of them a little quickly here. Pushing over 1,000-pound wall. What did you think of that one?
I mean, if that's true, that's amazing. I don't know how that's. I mean, I don't know. I'm not some 300-pound freaking walking tank of muscle. Is that possible? Like, can somebody knock over 1,000-pound wall? Maybe.
I don't know. And how do you do these things safely? That's the thing that gets me about a lot of these things. Like, what if they started rocking that thing and it fell back on them? Like,
oh God, please don't even bring that into the world. I can't. Oh God.
Like, I don't get it. I don't get how some of these things are safe. So, like, that one definitely stood out to me for that reason. But yeah, like you said, is that even a thing? Everybody's able to push over 1,000-pound wall. That's a lot.
I mean, it's a thing where maybe it could be done because it's not like they're lifting the wall. They're just pushing it over. So the weight really isn't like 1,000 pounds of resistance there. I don't know. I mean, that's out of my whatever.
The gates of Mount Olympus. They have to push 450 pounds up a 25-degree incline.
That is
basically
really
like
cool.
3 things that stack up. So they push this like sled type thing.
If you guys watch Sasuke, it's the same as the battering ram, where there's like different weighted things that they kind of link up. It's that on a hill, and I found that really cool.
Isn't it called balance tank? I think.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was battering ram. Could be. I don't know. But either way, you guys know what we're talking about if you watch Sasuke. And this thing's pretty... I felt like this was one of those visually really cool, engaging ones. Actually, all the obstacles on this hill part. So what came after it?
Rolling Ascent. That's the giant rollers that have to climb up.
I like that because that actually involved technique. All these obstacles are like... all the other obstacles are basically like, you know what to do. This rolling one, you actually have to figure out how to get over these things without them spinning on you and stuff. I liked that.
I feel like it's the only legitimate technical obstacle, if you want to call it that. Like, it's the only one that does require some kind of technique. You have to figure out what to do.
And agility. Like, Tank Dude, that's all muscle and everything, he had some trouble because guess what? He can't just muscle through it. You actually have to, like, jump up, like, use agility, and also, like, keep your body momentum forward and, a few other things. I'm not going to go over the specifics, but if you see it, you guys kind of know what to do. And you have to figure it out. Cool. I would love it for all the obstacles to be like this. Have some strength base and like whatever you want to have with it, but actually have some like strategy also.
I mean, the cliffs was next, and that kind of did. They had to punch holes in this wall to climb up it. Kind of a weird obstacle, but I guess there's some strategy to that too, where to punch and how big of a hole to make.
Straight out of MTV's A Challenge. Just saying.
Really? Well, there we go. After that was the torch
Nobody
crank.
needs me covering that, so No,
no. It's not terribly interesting, but kind of, I guess. Torch crank is like this giant heavy crank that they use to raise a torch up high. I forget how much is it, 600 pounds or something the torch was.
Yeah. I mean, I felt that part kind of cool just because it was so heavy that a lot of people had to like really grind through it and grit it out. But it was also another strength-based obstacle. I don't know.
Yeah. The descent, they basically slid down from the top of the mountain and then had to climb over 5, 6, and 7 foot walls.
I could not believe like Tank Dude couldn't do that. Like this is like for me, maybe because I'm a Spartan, like I've done obstacle course races like pretty much the past 15 years. This is nothing to me. And maybe, 5'11" skinny dude, it's nothing, but Tank Dude might have some trouble. But I was like, dude couldn't even get over these. They're not high walls. It's not like you're jumping over an 8-foot wall like I've had to do before. Like
he's exhausted. I couldn't get it. To be fair, he doesn't train, or he doesn't seem to, certainly by the results, does not train endurance. He trains for power. He trains for burst ability, and this sustained effort over the course of this mountain, it's just done him in. Like, he was exhausted.
And I'm glad they're there, and I'm glad he really struggled through this, because when I saw it, I'm like, why are those there? But hey, fooled me.
Yeah, and then once they get to the very bottom, they have the balls and chain, which is a 200-pound ball that they have to drag across the stadium floor with a hammer attached to it, and they use the hammer to break a concrete slab, which they retrieve a relic, and then they go turn it into this, basically a key into a lock to win the whole thing. Yeah,
I mean, I gotta say, this ball and chain part really gave some epic beast mode moments, which I was a big fan of. Your girl in particular, man, she was.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you describe that? Because that was crazy.
That is the highlight of the episode for me. Absolutely the highlight. I burst into laughter. I had to stop it and show it to my daughter because I was losing it. That was the only part that got a reaction out of me the whole episode. So the one I like, Charity, she's a powerlifter. She was a swimmer. She had a heart condition, decent backstory. She ended up going into powerlifting after doing other sports. In her very first competition, she broke the world record. This lady is absolutely huge. But she's just like the big dude we've been talking about. She struggled on the mountain because she's not training endurance necessarily, at least not as much as this fitness model that she's up against. Fitness model did great, like way better than people were seeming to expect of her, especially on some of these strength-based obstacles. She held her own on the crank and stuff. But it comes down to the floor. They're down. It's pretty neck and neck. Absolutely exhausted. It's written all over her face. Fitness model gets down there first, starts wrapping the chains around her, like her shoulders and stuff, getting ready to haul this 200-pound ball across. Like a very difficult thing to do. You've seen people struggle with it. It's heavy. Charity gets to the bottom, grabs it with one hand, and starts dragging it behind her like it's a doll. Like
she was bored of it, bro. Like,
oh my God. I was floored. I couldn't believe how casually she dragged that thing across the floor. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, that was epic, man. Because, before this, we had at least 4 runs of people absolutely struggling to carry this. I mean, like, genuinely struggling. And she grabs it and just walks it like she's just dragging along, I don't know, anything. Like just a sled or anything, and she just has this bored expression on her face. Like she has zero struggle. She's like, all right, let's get this over here so I can finish this already. Like she was almost like offended by how easy this was for her. That was such beast mode. And it was even more perfect because the fitness model was doing very well to this point, and it was amazing. It was very, very close. She was struggling. Like she had it all wrapped around her and was like, like could barely move this thing, like inching it one by one. And then she just grabs it like nothing and just drags it she was bored of it. It was so dope.
Yeah, definitely the highlight of the whole thing for me. I thought it was great. If we had more moments like that, I would be more into the show. But that was enough for me to give it a slightly higher rating because I did like that moment.
So one thing I'm very curious to see, the American Ninja Warrior, I don't know, fandom reaction to this, because I know there was a lot of excitement for this show, and I want to know how other people feel about this. So please give us some feedback, everybody, because I want to know if I'm being too hard on this, or genuinely we are being too hard on this show, because, we just have our opinions, and I have to be faithful to what I really feel. I know people probably even had a part of the show, but I can't just blow smoke up their butts. I have to say how I really feel. And I was kind of just whelmed when it came to this show. I know you kind of said similar sentiments, Rich. And it's one of those things where the show could do better, but similar to what we've seen with Spartan Ultimate Challenge, if this is the very beginning and what we're seeing, chances are it's going to get very stale by the end of the season. And I genuinely hope it does get better. But
I feel, here's the thing. So we decided early on that we would only cover the first episode of ANW Junior because we didn't really think we'd be interested in it. And then we ended up picking it up to cover it all because it was great.
Because it was awesome, man.
Yeah. This, I almost feel the complete opposite, where it was like, oh, we're going to cover Titan games. That sounds awesome. And now I'm like, I don't know if I want to cover it.
Funny, I felt the same way. And I'm at least going to give it another chance, like at least another week. But I feel like that's where we're going to have to make up our minds if it's like, hey, a new Sasuke started or happened, and I really want to watch that and cover it. How about we leave it up to everybody else? Maybe create a poll or something, Rich. But I want to know what other people want us to cover, because I want to see if maybe everybody else is going to stay with the show. And if, this show does get good ratings and there is genuine interest, we should cover it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've never wanted feedback more than I do right now. I really do, like Bijan said, I want to know what you guys think. Do you like it? Is it just us? Was it just we were having an off night when we watched it? So yeah, let us know. Do you want us to cover it? Are you enjoying it? Did you find the stories engaging? Do you like the obstacles? Like send it in. We'll give you all our contact information at the end, as always.
God, now I'm just having flashbacks to ANW Europe, or what the heck is it called?
Oh, yeah.
UK
Ninja Warrior UK.
Oh God, please don't do that to me, guys. That's not even fair. This show is not even in the same hemisphere of that bad.
Okay, out of
not.
10. Out of 10, what would you give it out of 10, I think, would be the way
the
to
show?
really qualify it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. I would honestly give it a 6.
Yeah, I'd give it a 5. I was rating between 5 and 6. I'm going to lean towards 5.
Yeah, but this is the key. The second episode is really going to make it or break it for me, because I could see how this show can get very old very quick if it's more of the same. I just have to see what they have in store for the second episode. That said, well, I will say this: I've heard a lot of people talk crap, in particular in the ANW community, and I felt like undeserved, a lot of crap about Ultimate Beastmaster. If y'all are going to tell me that this is better than Ultimate Beastmaster, we're going to have some problems. Because no way.
No, it's definitely not. It's nowhere. It doesn't touch either show. It doesn't touch A&W Junior. It doesn't even close.
No, I was about to say, hot take, man. I 100% believe A&W Junior is better than this. And maybe it's a bias of the fact that I love A&W, but I find A&W Junior, even the contestants more entertaining. Man, okay. Mixing tequila and beer, it's got some effects. Starting to slur a little bit. So, yeah. But here's the real hot take, Rich. And maybe it's a little too early. It's not fair. But as of right now, Titan Games or Spartan Ultimate Challenge?
Oh,
yeah.
And I think like you said earlier, initially we kind of liked Spartan. I think in the beginning episode, Spartan was pretty good. We kind of liked it. It got old fast. So in the end, if you told me that next week we had to cover either a new Spartan episode or a new Titan Games episode, I'm going to pick Titan Games.
I would honestly pick Spartan only because I feel like every, at least initial matchup for Titan Games, I could and have correctly guessed who would win, based on factors of even just the visual aspect of like, oh, they have a background in this, or they just genuinely look stronger in this. Whereas Spartan, there is technicalness. Technicalness? That's not a term. Anyways, there's more technical aspects of tackling obstacles.
Right.
But once again, personal preference.
Well, there you go. Send us your personal preferences. We want to know.
Let's get on to some fun. The bashing is over, everyone.
We slogged through. Now, before we move on, it's time for another drink.
I'm going to chug this beer.
I'm going to chug too. Oh.
I apologize if y'all heard that. Anyways. 30-year-old shotgunning a beer. Well, no, I didn't shotgun it because, well, you guys know. If you don't, whatever. But anyways, I pretty much chugged in, I don't know, 3/4 of beer? That was fun. Let's not do that again, Bijan. I'm too damn old for this.
I tried to do too much.
What are you drinking again?
Oh, don't even remind me. A cooler.
Oh. Is it like fruity?
It's lemonade.
Oh, shame on you, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's what I had to go light.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. All right, give me 1 sec because I need to go grab another beer.
All right.
And while you do that, why don't you explain to everybody, now I think about it, why don't you explain are we doing 21 questions right now?
Yeah, I think that's what we should do next.
Explain for everybody listening at home how the format of 21 questions goes.
Okay, I think it's 20 questions, but okay, we'll go with it.
Well, the 21st question is the guess. Actually, yeah, that doesn't work. We can guess no matter what. So yeah, 20 questions.
Okay. So for those that haven't played 20 questions before, typically it's a pretty wide range of topics, but in our case, we are doing 20 questions ninja style. So each of us has selected a ninja. I hope he has not been mean to me this year and picked some obscure ninja. We pick popular ninjas, and then we have to ask questions to figure out which one it is. And we may ask, is it a man or, and it has to be yes or no questions. So is it a man? Yes or no? Are they over 30? Those types of questions. We use that to narrow it down. And then we try to make our guess as to who the ninja is at the end. Last year, I was not prepared for it. We had done it 2 years prior. Bijan sprung it on me after having multiple shots of whiskey last year, and I absolutely destroyed him. For the record, it took me 2 questions to figure out that it was Alyssa Beard, and he really struggled with James McGrath. He did get it in the end, but just barely. So we'll see this year. We'll see.
It was
how
pretty
it goes.
damn embarrassing, bro. It was not good.
All right, so let's get into the 20 questions portion. We're both really feeling it right now.
Time to open another beer.
It's about time.
All right, so who's going first, bro?
I'll go first if you want to do it. You know what I mean by wow. So who wants to ask questions first? I'll ask questions first. How's that?
Sounds good. Let's do it. All right, so everybody at home, you guys know how this goes. Please don't judge too hard. We are a little inebriated. But with that said, you have 20 questions to figure out, and they have to be yes or no questions. Figure out who is my ninja. And I promise everybody knows, but I'm not going to change the whatever. That's just lame. Right. I have it written down literally right now.
All right, so is it a man?
Yes.
Have they been on more than 3 seasons of Ninja Warrior?
No. Oh, and also I want to make it clear. This would be a ninja that you would, both of us would know, and everybody at home would know. I'm not going to put, some random schlub out there.
Okay. Has this ninja competed on Stage 3 during the regular season?
No.
Did this ninja first compete on ANW 8?
Yes. How'd you guess ANW 8? Is that just a random pull? I'm of all the seasons, what?
Less than 3, so I figured I would start with the 3rd.
Oh, gotcha.
If I had to ask 9 or 10, then
that's actually a very good point. That narrows it down pretty well.
Yeah, well, kind of does.
Because at first I'm where'd 8 come from? Yeah, okay.
Did this competitor compete in Philadelphia?
No.
Okay. Damn, I thought I had it there. And I'm not going to use any web resources for those of you playing along at home. Don't you dare start web searching. That's not fair. You got to do it off the top of your head. It's only fair.
Rich has more encyclopedic mind than me, so he should get it.
Oh, God. ANW 8.
He's the one from the podcast that actually writes notes.
So that means that I definitely wrote notes for each time this person competed. First, it's a guy from ANW 8.
You're at 5 questions. I mean, you got plenty of more questions.
Yeah. But I need to narrow it down. I need to figure out what I'm even asking here. Did this person, so that means that was the rookie year was ANW 8. Did they make it to Stage 2 in ANW 8?
No.
So who, if they stood out, they must have done pretty well in 9 or 10. So who would have debuted back then and kind of stood out more recently? Oh my God, my brain doesn't want to work. Who the heck could this be? Did they make it to Stage 2 in ANW 9?
No.
Dude, did you pick somebody random, some random person I've never heard of?
Gonna be a little bit more challenging this year, guys.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I mean, to be fair, what was it? 1 year, I think I chose Jesse Graff or somebody, and the first question was is that man or woman? It's you got it 4 questions.
Yeah, that was last year. You picked Alyssa Beard, and I got it in 2 questions.
It's
I have people now that I want to pick. Is this person famous for having a bandwagon?
Having a bandwagon?
Yes, the booty bandwagon specifically.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yes. Damn it.
Is it Booty Cothran?
Yes! Booty!
Booty.
Where'd you get that out of, man?
Oh,
You were just basically like, who's a Stage 1 competitor that I would choose?
Yeah, I was like, who would be not obscure enough? The only other person I could think of was Eddie, is it Hilbert? Like the peck bouncing guy. And I'm like, you wouldn't be that mean. Like, it would have to be somebody we really cheer for. And Booty was the only person that came to mind.
And also, I don't know peck bouncing guy's name because his name is Peck Bouncing Dude.
I got it. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions.
That's pretty impressive.
Not
for
bad
me, it was
for Booty.
between Booty and Jesse LeBrec's boyfriend. Well, the problem is I don't know the guy's name because other than Jesse LeBrec's boyfriend, and it's like I don't know.
Chris DeGangi. The poor man's name is Chris DeGangi.
So I said Jesse LeBrec's boyfriend. That's his name.
I keep seeing that everywhere. It's not even just us. Everyone.
I can't wait for one day. Like I'm sure he's just gonna like hunt me down. I have a name, damn it.
All right, so I got mine. It is your turn to go.
Oh, see, this is where it gets fun, everybody, because you're about to see how much of a hot mess I am. I suck at this game. Man or woman?
It's got to be a yes or no question.
Is this a man or... Oh, sorry. Okay, gotcha.
I should have said yes.
I created this damn... Oh, my God. What is, like, shame on me. I'm the one that told Rich about this damn game, and I don't even know the rules. Is this competitor a man?
Yes.
Did this competitor compete in the past 4 seasons of ANW?
Yes.
Okay, that'd be seasons 6 through 10. Did this competitor compete in any of the seasons of 5 through 3?
No.
Is this competitor known for their antics, as in like being very camera friendly and charismatic?
That's a tough one. I can't just say. I'll say yes, and I'll add a little extra info and say that they are charismatic.
Has this competitor made it to Stage 2 in the Vegas finals?
Yes.
Okay, Stage 2. Has this competitor made it to Stage 3 in Vegas finals?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. Now we're dumbing it down. Okay. We got Najee, we got Daniel Gill, we got peeps like that. Has this competitor completed, or I'll say this, has this competitor made it to Stage 3 in seasons, in season 9 or 10? Like either of the past 2 seasons. There we go.
No, they did not make it to Stage 3 in season 9 or 10.
Okay. Well, that cancels out. We write down everybody that competed to Stage 3 because it's not them. It's not Najee. It's not Daniel Gill. It's not Drew Dreschel. And it's not Joe Morosky. And whoever else. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Papal Ninja. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so... didn't make it to Stage 3 in the past 2 seasons. See, that was so easy because it's like, you know the people that made it to Stage 3. Okay, so they made it to Stage 3 in season 7, or 6 through or 7. Man, I am just... That made no sense. They made it to Stage 3 in season 6 or 7. There we go. And I'm trying to think back who made it to Stage 3 back then. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't remember that. Or season 8, I think about it. Because season 9 and 10 we're talking about. Okay. Who made, man? Okay, well, they're a high-level ninja. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Let's do a little, be a little bit more vague or whatever. Is this ninja a minority, as in not Caucasian? Rich is having trouble, which means it's a little...
I am really kind of struggling a little bit. I would say they are Caucasian-ish.
Okay. I don't know what to take from that, but
of
Caucasian-ish.
all the things you could ask me, I'll say Caucasian, sure, and I'm probably gonna have somebody really correct me on that one.
Okay, so now I'm thinking of people that are really mid tier, like got that big question
really
mark
gave
right
you
there.
way,
Like a
give you way
Caucasian
more
person with
information than
a
it should have.
tan, or like a minority that's way too white. Okay, oh man. See, this one might mess me up though, Rich, because I might be looking at different aspects I shouldn't be. I mean, I feel like Genie Ninja and people like that are like clearly white. It wouldn't be a question. Who is Caucasian-ish? Is this competitor known for competing in a region that's on the western United States?
I would say no.
Okay, eastern U.S. This is a part where like I feel everybody at home might know, and I have no idea.
It's possible. People are figuring it out right now. So when
I
you
swear,
say,
if you do James McGrath again, I'm a fly over to Canada and just like. Okay, so I'm thinking like Wolfpack. It could be. Oh, well, here's one. Has this competitor competed on stage 4?
no.
Oh man, damn it. Because I don't know. Isaac Caldiero kind of has that like mid tier, like whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else is questionable? What's interesting is a lot of the ninjas that I was thinking of were West Coast. So who's on the eastern side that made it to stage 3 in like one of those mid seasons? Like there are things like Brent Stephenson and such, but like once again, they're clearly white. Like you could have really like maybe I'm way focused on that kind of stuff. And then there's stuff like Daniel Gill where I'm like, if you didn't know that guy's not not white, like I don't know what to tell you, bro. How many questions am I at right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Guys, this is the one. Rich has broke me.
Well, I'm kind of questioning that question. Like, I really feel like that question has thrown you off, and maybe I didn't answer it very well.
It's okay. Has this competitor... I'm going to try not to focus on that, and focus on other things. Has this competitor competed in the last season of American Ninja Warrior?
Yes.
Okay, so they're not retired. There's still Wolfpack. It could be... Is this competitor a member of the Wolfpack?
No.
Ah. Man, I really was thinking certain peeps. Okay, not member of Wolfpack. What's funny is, like, the Alaskan Ninja, Grant McCartney, Hawaii and all that stuff. Like, everybody I'm thinking of is all West Side U.S. It's really like a blank spot on the East Coast ninjas.
I feel like I owe you one for kind of throwing you off with the other question, I think. So I will grant you this. You asked me if they were a West Coast ninja. You didn't ask me if they were an East Coast ninja.
Are you really going to be one of the... Okay. So is this ninja in Alaska?
No.
For me, the divide was Western U.S. and Eastern U.S. Apparently, there is a different...
Well, it was a yes-no question, and you asked me if they were West Coast. I would say they are not a Western U.S. ninja.
Oh, wait, then yeah, it wouldn't even be Alaska anyways. Okay, well, is it a ninja from Southern U.S.?
Yes.
Okay. Is this ninja known for having a cowboy hat?
No.
Why did I be that selective? I should not have done that. Okay, so a Southern ninja. Like, all these ninjas are clearly white.
See, you're hung up on that. Can you ignore that question, basically?
I need to. I really need to.
I think
Southern
you need to.
ninja. Southern ninja.
I think I really screwed you up. Because
I just know people know the answer to this.
Again, I think I'm going to come out looking like the fool here.
No, I just can't remember who competed, who made it to stage 3 in the mid seasons.
Do you want me to run down what we know so far? I've actually been jotting down.
Yeah, actually, that'll help.
Okay, so it's a man, competed in the last 4 seasons of ANW, not in ANW 3 to 5, is charismatic, has been to stage 2, has been to stage 3, was not in stage 3 in season 9 or 10, was not from the Western US, is from the Southern US, has not been to stage 4, did compete in ANW 10, not in the Wolf Pack, not from Alaska, and does not wear a cowboy hat.
Is this ninja known for their antics?
I would say no.
Okay, so pretty straightforward, like focused ninja, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Has this ninja competed in Ninja versus Ninja?
Yes.
And I want to make it clear, this is not. This is just the last season of Ninja versus Ninja, not the other.
Right. Ninja versus Ninja specifically.
Okay.
Not Team Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Rich, how many questions I got left?
Let's check quick here. We've got 1, 2, 3. You have 3 questions left.
Oh my. Oh God. Well, this is the one, everyone. All right. So I know they're on Ninja versus Ninja. The only question I can have, well, I really feel like I should know who made it to stage 3 in those seasons, because there's only a select amount of people, you know. Among like the upper echelon of ninjas, like genuinely like upper echelon, is this competitor known for being fast?
Yes.
Okay, so really, really fast ninja. I have 2 questions left.
Yep.
God. They're fast. They might be parkourish. Everything. Agility. Is this ninja's like main strength parkour / free running? I don't know.
I'm gonna say.
Did they like get their start in
not
it?
Not officially. No.
Not officially.
I mean, if they're known for being fast, they're pretty parkourish, but they're not a parkour athlete, I guess.
Well.
Okay, you're probably gonna be mad at me when I tell you who it is, because of the question that I threw you off with. Let's put it that way. Let's say that I answered that they are not Caucasian. Let's go with that. So
not Caucasian.
How does that change? Not Caucasian.
I still don't know. Maybe Daniel Gill.
Because I have very much.
Well, no, Daniel Gill
doubled back on my answer on that.
It still wouldn't be Daniel Gill, and it still wouldn't be Najee. Problem is, I really don't know who's known for being in the Southern. I mean, there's Flip Rodriguez, but he's from the Western part, but he started in Miami, but he competes out of Las Vegas now.
This person is consistently South. How's that? Because I know they do move around. So let's say that they are a Southern U.S. ninja. Because you got 1 question left, and I want to give you as much fairness after my misleading answer.
I'm gonna be so annoyed. Oh
Probably.
My gosh. Who is this ninja? Okay. Not Caucasian now. Well, that just screws up everything. Because there's still like middle out there, you know? Like in my head, I'm seeing Ian Dory because he's like that middle everything, you know. But you said they're not a member of the Wolf Pack,
right?
This is a competitor I would know.
1,000% yes.
Damn. You know what's interesting? Now I think about it. Wait, no, you said this competitor didn't compete in the earlier seasons. Because I was about to say, oh, maybe they did well in earlier seasons, but not later seasons. Everybody at home, if you know who it is and you knew before me and you're just like screaming at I apologize. But I'm about to lose, everyone. How do
you? I will give it to you as much as I possibly can here, and then it almost makes it worse, I guess. But just to be fair, like I said, I feel like I misled you partway through. They made it to stage 3 in ANW8.
That doesn't do a damn thing for me. You think I remember ANW8? Like, oh, you are sorely mistaken, bro. Okay. Okay, it wasn't that long ago. Who made it in season 8? Season 8 was. I feel like that was the one with the Jesse. That was the one with the wedge. Who completed the wedge? I know a lot of people like failed at the wedge, but that was like the big breaker. I don't know. The only person I can think of is Daniel Gill, but like, I feel like he's clear. Is this competitor known for their hair?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
I mean, if it's not Daniel Gill, is this Daniel Gill?
It's Daniel Gill.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Dude, I completely wrote off Daniel Gill. So Daniel Gill didn't make it to stage 3 the past 2 seasons?
No, he didn't. He made it in AW8 and hasn't been back.
Oh, man. I seriously thought he did.
Yeah, that's why you had ruled him out, but I felt bad because the Caucasian thing, you clearly were like, I don't know. I mean,
is
obviously
Daniel Gill Caucasian? Because I
don't
thought
know.
He's not.
I have no idea. I really don't know. I even Googled it here as we're sitting here. I still don't know.
Finally, I can use the internet. Is Daniel Gill Caucasian? I thought he'd like be like some like. Well, I don't know. I don't want to judge people based on. You know what I mean.
Do you see why I was a little confused though? Like I don't know.
For me, I'm like, okay, I should have asked if this person's skin is white because really that's what I was. Because really, if they're not white, like that narrows it down. I'm sorry, y'all, but let's be honest. A&W is very bright, but there's you know, there's a nice mix, but it's pretty bright, man. But he's from the like he is a South because I was thinking like Daniel Gill, Genie Ninja, like and like the other ninjas that are from the South, like for in my head would be like Foot Rodriguez, even though he's LA, but I was like, maybe you're trying to trick me there. Right. And oh my God, I must be drunk because I'm forgetting Foot Rodriguez's close friend. You know, the black guy that used to box and stuff.
JJ Woods.
JJ Woods. Yeah, like that was in my head, you know, when it comes to like consistently South. And of course Cowboy Ninja and stuff, but I was like, other than that, like, who's a high echelon ninja that's known for being fast and all of that? Like, in my whole time, it was Daniel Gill, of course, but it can't be. Y'all must have been losing your minds the whole time. You're like, dumb Bijan, right here, thinking that Daniel Gill like, made it stage 3. Wow.
You know what's funny? You know who made it to stage 3 in ANW8? It was only 2 people. It was Drew Dreschel and Daniel Gill.
Wow, maybe it was that though. Because in my head, I'm seeing Daniel Gill made it recently to stage 3.
Yeah, he should be there every year, but he just has had. I think he failed on the Wingnut Alley last year, and this year he fell earlier, like on the I don't know, something on the Wave Runner or something.
Well, there you go, guys.
A double back one.
I'm not the smartest, you know, when it comes to remembering my A&W trivia. Y'all must have been losing your minds.
Just like last year, the James McGrath one had a lot of people screaming at their phones. So I'm curious how many people are going to lose it this year.
Well, hey, I'm not here to disappoint anyone. You know, if you came to be angry at me, achieved.
Mission accomplished.
Yes. And on that point, I'm going to chug this.
All right, I'm going to chug the last of mine. Okay, so we're just about ready to wrap it up here. I do want to point out, for those that haven't seen it, if you think you know ninjas, and if you think you know them better than we do after listening to this, check out our top 30 A&W list that we did with Universal Tuber. I'll link it in the show notes for those that haven't seen it. It was up on A&W Nation, and yeah, if you could leave like some nice comments on it, that would be great. I would really appreciate that.
Are you telling me that a list of the top 30 ninjas might be a little divisive, Rich?
It doesn't seem like it should be. Like, I feel like we should all just agree on the top 30. But for some reason, people don't necessarily agree with us. And some people don't like us interrupting like fairly well-paced videos with our long ramblings. So,
I mean, I could have told
the
you
YouTube comments have not been very favorable to us so far.
Y'all know what you're getting. A&W fandom. I'm drunk. Whatever. I was gonna say something, but I don't know.
It's all right. We're both there. So, do you have anything you want to add? Oh, we should check for 5-star reviews, shouldn't we? Take a look. Do we have any 5-star reviews lately? I'm starting to realize more and more how much this has hit me. All right, before we wrap it up, Bijan, do we have any 5-star reviews up on iTunes?
Yes, we do, bro. We got a review from Max Feinberg. That's that name sound familiar to you?
A little bit. He actually calls out. He reminds us of who he is. Who is it that we're talking about?
It's Max Feinberg from A&W Junior, show that we really like, that we've been covering the past few weeks, everyone. And his review says, just listen to the podcast, episode 10 podcast. I'm drunk. Sorry, guys. Don't listen to this, Max. You're too young.
Sorry, Max.
Just listen to the episode 10 podcast. I am Max Feinberg from the show, The Lovable Band Nerd. That's the most important part. If you guys remember, this kid was freaking awesome. You know, long arms, very good reach, good weight to strength ratio, but just the lovable nerd, you know, kind of like the people that you're listening to right now. We're kind of nerds. And yeah, really enjoyed hearing us and our opinions and thoughts. Max, love watching you on the show. You were awesome. Keep representing all of us nerds and us armchair ninjas. You know, you taking over the mantle and you are running with pride. So, of all things, we are going to be rooting for you, bro, in the finals because we know that you made it to the finals of A&W Junior. Keep kicking butt, keep being awesome, and keep being Max Feinberg. You go, bro. You get the 5-star review of the week.
All right. So thank you, Max. And if you'd like to have your own 5-star review on here, please make sure to drop by iTunes and leave us a review. Always much appreciated. And if you'd like to just reach out to us, if you'd just like to drop us a line, you can reach me at rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
I am inebriated.
We both are.
But yeah. If you want to contact me, though, you can contact me at Bijan151 at Let's do that over again. Yeah. You can contact me at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151.
All right. Thank you so much for listening, and have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Please drink responsibly. Peace and love.